Good afternoon, everyone. Greetings of peace, greetings of love. This week, starting yesterday, the United Nations is celebrating World Interfaith Harmony Week. It's usually observed on the first week of February. And given all the challenges our world is facing, the interfaith groups worldwide came up with this theme that has been the highlight for maybe 4 or 5 years, and that is love of God, love thy neighbor, love of the neighbor, love of good. So love of God, love of thy neighbor, love of good. And this has been the theme. So I thought, as today is just the second day into this Interfaith Harmony Week, we could use this time to reflect on what this theme means for us. Love of good. What is good and what is not good? For me, right? For ourselves. Love thy neighbor. Who is my neighbor? And love of God. The love of God in my life and the love for God that I express. So one is, before we go into meditation, is, am I emerging in my heart love for God? And secondly, am I opening my heart to receiving the love of God? And God's love, as we know, is unconditional, non-judgmental. It rises beyond all boundaries. And God's love also lifts us beyond all boundaries. So God's love doesn't have any limitations at all. Am I opening my heart to accepting that? And also, of course, expressing it. Because if I accept it, chances are I will express. So when it comes to love of my neighbor, who's my neighbor? Is it just the person living next door? Or is my neighbor the person sitting next to me in the subway or in the bus or on the train? Or somebody I'm walking on the street, and the other pedestrians are there also. Who is my neighbor? The people, the company, the organization next door to where I work. What are we seeing as our neighbor, and how are we expressing love for them? My neighbor could be neighboring country, could be neighboring community. What are we doing? How are we expressing that? And thirdly, love of good. And I just want to say that what I might think is good for me, my neighbor might not think it is good. For them, it might not be good. It might be wonderful because maybe they don't think of things in that way. So for them, it's more than just good. Or it might not even reach the level of good. They might think, oh, well, we don't do things like that. So for them, it might not be good. And what may be good for someone else, I might not think it is such a great thing. And so love of good, in my mind, I'm thinking that good could be so relative. And because what I think is good, and because I think it is good, I would like everybody to think the same. And when they're not, then I get upset. So if this thing is ever so good, why am I so upset? I kind of spoil it when I get upset or disturbed, or any way my internal stability shakes. And so love of good, when we align ourselves with our true self, then what is good for me will be good for everybody else. Because the principles of the soul are the same, regardless of what the outer coating is, the body, regardless of color, caste, or creed. The soul, what is good for the soul, will be good for any soul, all souls. So love for good is also transcending all barriers, all borders, and bringing us back to our truth. Because the principles of I, the soul, will be the same across the board. So let us spend a few minutes, we have 10 minutes or so, reflecting on what love for God, love for good, and love thy neighbor mean to us. So let us relax ourselves. It's a big subject. It's a very deep and very delicate also, especially with what's happening in our world right now, or maybe right in our neighborhood, what's going on. So we're only going to touch the surface a little bit, but I would encourage you to give it more thought, because 10 minutes is never enough to go into the depth of something like this and to bring out the real goodness that lie within ourselves. But we're gonna give it a try. And so for that, we need to be in a very safe and relaxed place inside. So let's take a deep breath in to relax our body. And breathe out, letting all the tension in the muscles melt away. One more time. Let's breathe in. As you breathe in love. And breathe out, peace and calm. In again, one more time. And let it go. Let the body relax. Bringing your thoughts to this present moment as you watch your breath in and out. Your breathing is deep and regular. And as you keep watching your breath, the mind moves away from everything of the outside world and begin to focus on the inner self. Gently concentrate your energy on the center of your forehead, behind the eyes. And rest on the spark of light, the source of divine positive energy that lies within the body. And as you allow your thoughts and attention to rest and to connect with the inner light, there is a sense of calm, of peace. And then gently you enter into the room of your mind. And as you enter this inner space, there is a feeling of safety, of calm, of protection. In this space, in this safe space, I can feel the love for my own self emerging. Love for who I am. Love for what more I could be. I allow my heart to open and allow that love for myself to flow throughout my body, allowing me to accept myself for who I am, to embrace me with all my flaws and all my strengths. And as I begin to feel that, I'm gently reminded of the source of positive energy, the Almighty Source, the source of true unconditional love. I turn my attention to that one, to that divine light that emanates with such a love that surpasses everything else. A love that's so accepting, so non-judgmental. I open my heart and I allow myself to be filled with a love so pure that lifts me up, that can support me, and strengthen me. I allow this love to surround my entire being, for such love cannot come from a bodily relationship. Such love can only come from the ultimate source. This love of God is not just for me, but this love reaches out across the world and brings everyone into its embrace. This love of God not just accepts me for what I am, but allows me to accept others for who they are. This love helps me to see deeper, to see higher, and to understand the other in a better way. This love keeps my vision beyond the limitations of color, caste, or creed. This love is so liberating, yet very protective. Let me stay within the rays of the light of this love for another few moments. Absorbing it. Allowing it to penetrate deep into my being. And now I gently bring my thoughts back to this room in which I'm sitting. And as I sit in this place, I reflect on that experience and I tell myself, it doesn't finish here. I will go out there now and I will express this in so many different ways. So take a deep breath in and let it out. So thank you very much. Keep on sharing this kind of love. Our world needs it, which I'm sure you agree with. And have a love-filled day and week. See you again tomorrow. Bye-bye.